Hello everyone, my name is Zachary O'Shea, and this is Box of Teeth. Every October for the last few years, I've shared a homebrew Dungeons & Dragons and monster each and every day, and this October is no different. So here is your October Monster a Day for October 23rd, 2023. Here in week 4, what I do every year is called Universal Antagonists, where I take horror movie monsters or monsters from horror books or horror comic books, something that like, and reproduce a version of them for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. It usually has a twist on their formula, but it's very easy for players to identify the trope that they are walking into when it comes with this horror monster, or I guess several tropes therein. And today we're going to cover the Circle. 10 strange stones stand against the tides of time, their Caledonian green surfaces smoothed by erosion and scrolled with wide, curling curves devouring one another. Just beneath the soil's surface around them, one can find scores of bones, both animal and humanoid. For the Circle ever hungers, and its will dominates those destined to feed it. Set atop a hillside in two rough hemispheres, this megalithic structure almost looks like hands threatening to tear from the earth. In fact, in each pair there is one stubby stone among 4 taller ones. The Circle's origins are forever lost in the mists of history, but over generations it has become a place of worship for various sinister cults. It repays those who feed it with unholy miracles and can even manifest its will within a human host for a time. One day its gestation will be finished, and sated the Circle will sail the stars as its ancestor did. It will also leave behind a fresh clutch of 10. Now, this obviously leans on some of those classic folk horror roots with a bit of a cosmic horror twist at the end that you'll find in horror writing and folk horror movies from the 60s and 70s. Let's go ahead and jump into its statistics for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Now, this is a CR7 creature. It is a gargantuan construct with a 0 speed because it's currently just standing stones as it gestates. Has a decent armor class, some good hit points, nice high strength and constitution, and intelligence as well, because it's been around for a while. It has the sort of damage resistances and condition resistances that you would expect for a unliving construct, and it automatically knows all the languages of a creature that it is currently possessing, which we'll get into in just a moment. It does have innate spell casting. In this case, once per day, it can cast Unholy Weapon. Once per season, it can cast Greater Restoration. And once per decade, it can cast Resurrection. This ties back into Life Leech, so whenever it has a humanoid sacrifice to it, it resets either its once per day or once per season spell, but still, once a decade, it can bring someone back from the dead. It has regeneration, so it gets 10 hit points back at the start of every turn with no condition. It does have 2 keening attacks, which are a psychic attack that it can do, and it does have a possession ability, which is very similar to a D&D 5e ghost possession ability, except of course it doesn't cease to be, it just instills its will into a creature, and can see through its eyes, knows all its languages, can actually keen from that possessed entity as well, and that's how it interacts with its followers or sometimes takes over those who work against it. Alright, this is a short and sweet but very sinister villain that you could use for a campaign or an adventure set if you want to. I hope it gives you some ideas for your own horror-based Dungeons & Dragons campaign that you want to run, or really any fantasy system you want to use. As always, you can see the Circle, every creature I've made for this October, every creature I've made for previous Octobers, and hundreds of other horror-themed monsters for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition at boxofteeth.blogspot.com. If you're more interested in the non-Dungeons & Dragons projects that I have, or the horror fiction that I write that includes Grease Paint right there, which is a novel with a killer clown, it's great for the Halloween season, you can always go to www.zacharyoshea.com. I hope you have a great rest of the week, everybody. Take care.